The Z8 is the best performing hybrid camera.
Everywhere I go, the people really wanna know who I is and who I be. They stop and stare when they see me. If I said it once, no need to repeat. Run up on me, watch you fall to your knees. Tip my hat when it's time for the kill. Ain't no beast when you're really real. I am the boss, I am the Don, I am the one they call Lucky Charm.
By now, it's been a few days since Matt Granger posted this video, Richie and Matt Irwin, testing the recording performance of this camera. Seemingly a lot of folks got upset because Matt Granger's test wasn't quite exactly as how we expected it. And when I say that, meaning the Nikon numbers, and yes, I can admit that, he didn't run it fully based upon utilizing a external battery pack. But based upon what I saw for using the internal battery, I was happy. Okay? Overjoyed is probably the best thing. That solidified it in my mind that it's the camera to get. I can agree that while he didn't perform the test at the same level, I think sometimes people get bent out of shape when they see tests like these. So let's get some realistic thing going here. The Canon R5, people poo-poo that one for some time. Now I understand there was a Sony version that people give some hard time to, but back then I probably wasn't following the camera stuff as much. But I do know the R5 when it came out, 8K recording was something that I was interested in. And of course, I think Canon specified it would do 20 minutes in the manual. I know I've posted in my other videos. I'll probably post it in this video as well so you guys can see that. And they did specify also the recording conditions. I think it was 23C. I don't have the information in front of me, so let me not say anything. I'll just post it so you guys can see it. But based upon their testing, I don't think many people actually checked to see what was going on. They just recorded and, had complaints about it. So after firmware update, they increased the recording time to like 45 minutes. I own the A7R5. I've used it with 8K and around a 20-minute mark or so in Thailand, Chiang Mai, where it's pretty warm. It was 105 degrees outside. Even the AC running inside the building, after 20 minutes, I got maybe like 15 minutes or so, I got the heat recording side. So I'm going to say 15 to 20 because I don't remember exactly, because I usually record long, then chop things up and post. Now, when I check the specs in the Sony camera, it says it can record for 30 minutes with high heat settings. So I guess I was kind of close to that. Maybe the camera will shut off at that point, but it also does an extra setting where they go to 40 degrees Celsius, which is 104 degrees Fahrenheit, for 20 minutes. So I don't think it was 104 in the house when it started, and the camera did not shut down, just a heat warning. So when you buy cameras, always remember, manufacturer has a specification in which they test the camera to operate in. Depending on what conditions you're shooting in, whether it's colder or warmer, things will be different. But they specify typically the testing conditions. So if someone is in a different place and they get slightly better or slightly worse, don't beat them up. This is just how things work. Now, with that out of the way, my title says it's the best performing hybrid camera. And I did put at the bottom of it for prosumers. Because guess what? When we look at the numbers from the Nikon side for video recording 8K, even though it's at the top level 8K, for what it can do in 8K, because this is what we're talking about, what the manufacturer specified, it's saying 90 minutes, 8K, 30, 8-bit. Okay? Still not a bad resolution to record in. For 90 minutes, that's pretty darn good. Matt Granger got about 1 hour and 60 minutes on the internal battery. I mean, come on. That is awesome. An hour and 30 minutes internal battery. Nikon did their test with an external battery pack and got to an hour and 30 minutes. What more do you want? Clearly, if you want to record for much longer, there's no other cameras out there that can do it. Oh, let me clarify that. No other prosumer camera. The Nikon Z9 is the only other non-fan, actually say, the Nikon Z9 is the only camera right now with passive cooling, no fans, that can record 8K for over 2+ hours. Now, I think it's 2 hours and 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure there's a limitation that Nikon sets on the camera to make sure that it doesn't burn up the electronics or, whatever issues it can cause, damage the sensor. So with that out of the way, if you know that all the other cameras in the price point of the Z8 doesn't perform to the same level as the Z8, we can give it that crown easily. It surpasses them easily. 90 minutes, that's double the R5 time. Okay, it's also an hour better than the A7R5. And you may say other cameras record that, yes, they probably do because they have a fan. We're specifically talking about cameras, hybrid cameras with no fans. Okay, I'm kind of losing my voice here. In Mongolia it's a bit chilly, but I'm trying to deal with it. All right, so let me get to another thing. There have been also talk about the autofocus system and how great it is or isn't when it comes to other cameras and what they do. And sometimes we look at tests. As Nikon people, we know our autofocus system is a little bit different than the standard stuff. When I use Sony and I'm sitting here, it tracks my eye, the box, see what's going on, and that's fine. I watched Manny Ortiz's test this morning, and one of the things that he says, the box may be trailing sometimes, but the shots are in focus. He got, I think 90% is what he said for shots in focus. And he showed you via the Adamus Ninja what it was recording, so you could see what was happening. A couple of people from the Nikon side chimed in because I also say, there's settings on all these cameras that you can use to adjust how fast they react to when a subject is blocked. And maybe Manny didn't set the settings, we don't know, but maybe tweaking it a bit more could have given a better performance. But based on what I saw, come on, that's awesome. My A7R5 has an extra check where you can take a photo of somebody's face, have it in the camera, and no matter if there's somebody that comes in between a person, as long as you can detect the face, it will capture the face. It will focus on that person. I think another Sony camera may have that. I'm not sure because I didn't follow Sony all that much before the FX30 and the A7R5. But that's great stuff to have. And, that's an extra feature. And for any other cameras out there that don't have that and are performing well enough to keep track, I think that's a good thing. I know specifically that's for video, but it could be for photo as well. I shoot a lot more video these days than photos. And, I'll be honest and say sometimes I don't pay too much on the photo side. But watching what the Nikon was doing in Manny's video tells us that the camera is really good. And let's be honest, there are tons of professionals who are shooting this camera that are not having any issues, making it work, getting paid for their jobs. A lot of time us people who are looking for another camera, we can boohoo on specs and what other people say. And I've seen it myself on the FX30 where people come on my channel and ask me about things that statements that I made that other big YouTubers said differently. And I have to correct them. I own a camera. I use it on a regular basis. I know what the performance is. Somebody who got it for a week or two and played around for a little while and returned it, didn't purchase it, they can say what they say from what they know. And a lot of times we see rushed unboxing reviews and, we look at it and goes, what's going on? A bulk of the people who follow the channel will, chime in about how great it is and whatever. And the people who look at the facts are piping in, and usually those voices get drowned out. It's the nature of the business. But overall, now we're seeing more and more tests come out in people's hands, and some people in the comment section trust certain YouTubers over others, and that's normal. So with more and more reviews coming out in actual tests, you can hear from different people who are pretty much saying the same thing. And I think something that a lot of other non-Nikon users missed, this camera performs great. It's based on the Z9. The Z9 was like this unsung hero that not many people talked about. And even Mandy mentioned it that, with all the video specs, you didn't realize not many people are paying attention to this. They're at least YouTubers. And in the last year or so, I can say that I've seen a lot more non-Nikon shooters with the Z9 testing out the video. That's telling you something. Now I have a smaller camera, a bit more affordable, that can do up to 8.3K internally. You may not want to do that for a long period of time, but again, some people want to test their camera shoot at that level, but 8.3K raw, that's a heck of a amount of file. And the people who've tested it said pretty much they run out of space on their drive. If you're a professional, shooting a professional environment, you may do that, but most of us don't need to shoot raw. So let's just throw that out the window right away. I have an Atomos. I use it for my recording, sometimes with the FX30, mostly with the Z6 II. But in most occasions where I can sit and I can reach the camera right in front of me, I don't need to. Usually I'd have that like right in front of me where I can just hit the button and I can start recording. And it's easier. But now, get the camera and I'm good to go. But the key is, this camera has capabilities beyond what any other camera before the Z9 had. So it's only second to the Z9. So if you want to say it's not the best, the Z9 is the best, yes, that's true. But I did make sure I put that information on the title to explain that it's a prosumer camera, not a professional camera. So before you guys attack me and say that, remember, best hybrid performing 8K video camera, prosumer. Okay, if you guys need more questions, let me know about it. I didn't want to take this video for long, but I figured I need to explain things because, of course, there'll be some people who watch the video and pick up bits and pieces of it and get upset. And I'll say this to you. Watch it again if you need to. Watch it, get the full context of what's going on here. All cameras are great. All cameras can shoot great pictures if you know how to utilize the camera. I think some people depend on the autofocus way more than they need to. But hey, those of us who come from the manual days where you dial in everything, you're shooting wedding, events, sports, the camera just worked. Somehow today, people think that if a camera doesn't have, autofocus that thinks for you, or almost thinks for you, then the camera is not great. It's about the art, guys. It's not about the tech. The tech is there to help you. It's a tool. That's all it is. All right. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you love it, subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for tech and gear to buy, check my links below in the description area. Click on one of those, purchase one of those things through the link. It helps the channel out. See you in the next video.
Honor these small policies, my darling. You are the empress queen. Man, respect or he'll neglect. You are the wind beneath his wings. You are the season. You are the reason why this world can breathe.